Chat, we are light years behind right now. So we're gonna blast through some of these today. Chat, I haven't caught up on Roll for Sandwich in a bit. So I figured, today's Thanksgiving. We're just chilling. We're just vibing. Might as well just start blasting through these and start getting caught up on some of the monstrosities that we've missed out on. All right, let's go.
Good afternoon, D&D, TikTok, and beyond, and welcome to Roll for Sandwich, the series where I let fate decide.
Now we're actually starting.
Let's go. Today's episode of Roll for Sandwich is sponsored by Gooey Cube and their new crowdfunding campaign for the Tomb of Guys and
Farm
Gax.
sponsors.
The Tomb of Guys and Gax is a new role-playing adventure that honors the late, great Gary Gygax, one of the creators of Dungeons & Dragons.
Why is he adding candy?
Gooey Cube
This
sent me one of their previous projects
sandwich?
so you can see the level of detail
Not
that
his
they
choice.
put into their work.
The dice
Tomb of Guys
decides.
and Gax adventure features many nods to classic D&D and is being made as a partnership with Luke Gygax, Gary Gygax's son. The project is currently funding on Kickstarter, and you can find a link to that Kickstarter page in my bio. Gooey Cube even sent some Gooey Cube dice that we're going to use to roll for our sandwich
He does
today.
actually eat it all.
As a special bonus for today's episode, Luke Gygax has promised to personally taste whatever sandwich the dice roll today in a follow-up video. All right, and without any further ado, let's roll for bread. 4, white bread. Today we're living dangerously with untoasted white bread. Let's roll for our main.
Hey, untoasted white bread is kind of nice.
6, turkey. Turkey on white bread was definitely a frequent brown bag lunch that I took to school as a kid. Let's roll for some cheese.
All right, so we watched 267, which means the next one is this one.
Good afternoon, D&D.
This is... Oh, God. Why is the first one we're starting is April 1st? This just made my life 10 times harder.
D&D TikTok.
Come on.
Good afternoon, D&D, TikTok, and beyond, and welcome to Roll for Sandwich, the series where I let fate decide my lunch. Let's go. Today, I'm going to be using the official Roll for Sandwich dice set. This custom dice set features my logo on the 20 and a ketchup bottle on the 1. It's available now.
If you're curious how I found it, I literally typed in manually
the with our roll for bread
address bar from the video that I had.
1, none. This has actually happened before, and it did not work out very well.
No.
Hopefully we get a better main than we got last time. But regardless, we're in for a trip today, starting out with a roll like that.
What?
Next up, let's roll for main. 2, none.
Nah, this is troll.
Well.
No, this is troll.
I guess our sandwich is purely theoretical at this point. Next up, let's roll for cheese.
He's gonna roll no all the way.
4, white cheddar.
Oh.
Well, we avoided the dreaded no cheese roll. I guess I'll just put this here. And it wouldn't be roll for sandwich without our second slice, so.
Okay. Just have some slices of cheese. I do that.
Cheese on a plate. Next up, let's roll for
the
our
fridge
rubbin.
at like 1 in the morning. Grab a cheese slice. Can't say you've never done it.
None. No, that's fine. I didn't want roughage anyway. I didn't want to eat today. All right, let's get wild. 19. None.
Okay, dude.
Okay, still just cheese on a plate. Yeah. Cool. And last but not least, we have the D20 sauce roll. Here we go. 3. None. This is the low-calorie, low-carb, gluten-free version of Roll for Sandwich. Let's go ahead and get our toothpicks in there to hold it together, I guess.
Honestly, this is better than half of the sandwiches. Not wrong. Dude, this looks gas. I'm in.
Let's take a look at that cross-section. Thin. Well, it seems today I got Mickey and the Beanstalk. But I am a consummate professional, so we will continue. Let's taste it.
The inner child in me just screamed.
Salty with
you must
just
eat
the right
the
amount of
pieces
sharpness.
individually. You
this
cannot
sandwich
eat
really invokes
overlapped
the
pieces.
feeling of standing in front of your open refrigerator, pajamas illuminated solely by refrigerator light. It pairs perfectly with unemployment and depression. But all in all, it's not that bad. I'm going to give this sandwich a 9.9999. And I'm going to call it None Sandwich Left Cheese. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. It's been fun. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you.
That was a pretty good April Fool's one.
Good afternoon, D&D, TikTok, and beyond, and welcome to Roll for Sandwich Season 6, the show where I let fate decide my lunch. Let's rock! Today I'm going to be using these sandwich dice that were handmade for me by Nat20 Resin. Thanks! For Season 6, I'm introducing a new mechanic to the show.
Cool dice.
Spells. These spells will give me a limited...
This is the start of a new season? Today is the 2-year anniversary of Roll for Sandwich. Wait, huge!
amount of agency against the chaos that is the dice rolls. Check my pinned video for more information on how this mechanic works. All right, without any further ado, let's get started with our roll for bread. 1 Danish Kringle.
Did I say
Start in Season
crouton?
6 with a doozy of a roll. The Danish Kringle is basically a giant pastry. This one is pecan flavored or pecan flavored, depending on where you live. Though traditionally from Scandinavia, these pastries can also be found in Wisconsin, which is where I got this one. Next up, let's roll for Maine.
If you saw my Thanksgiving food tier list, you know.
6 Tuna. Maybe not the most ideal roll when building a sandwich on a pastry, but it does give us a chance to use one of our spells. The Midwest Salad Cantrip allows me to mix my minced up Maine with mayo. I don't think this is the absolute worst option we could have rolled, but I don't think it's the best either. Though texturally this may benefit us, as the Kringle is a pastry and kind of softer, tuna salad will match that a little bit better than like a sausage or something. The Kringle is definitely sweet, but the pecan Kringle might work in our favor a little bit, giving us that little bit of nuttiness to go with the savory mayo. Still, I'm struggling.
I'm sorry, I zoned out for a second. What the is happening? How the did we get here?
The Kringle is definitely sweet, but the pecan Kringle might work in our favor a little bit, giving us that little bit of nuttiness to go with the savory mayo.
Dude,
Still, I'm
what?
struggling a little bit mentally with the thought of tuna on a Kringle. Next up, let's roll for cheese. 4 White Cheddar. Well, considering what we've already got on this sandwich, I'm glad we didn't hit a fancier cheese option. And we also didn't get something funky, so that's good. Next up, let's roll for some roughage. 3 plums and 11 none. I can see the tangy plum tasting pretty good on top of the Kringle. And honestly, I can even imagine it pairing pretty good with cheese. Not quite sure about the tuna, though. Interestingly enough, we do have kind of a color theme going on here with tans, whites, and yellows.
The
It's
frosting
giving
and the
sad
cheese
beige.
and the tuna.
Next up, let's get a little wild with our wild magic. 7 Popcorn salt. Honestly, at this point, anything to
You know we've gone south because Helipline just said pog tasty.
balance out the
We've
sweetness
gone
of that
so
Kringle
south.
is appreciated. And if that means a little bit of this violently yellow butter-flavored salt, I'll take it. Finally, last but not least, is the D20 sauce roll. Here we go.
Aw, that's cute.
16 Storman sauce. Storman Gorman Thomas was a Milwaukee Brewers baseball player in the 1970s. And his Storman sauce is a mustard-based barbecue sauce that I picked up while at...
Hot take, watery mustards or barbecue sauce like this, I think are terrible. If it's not some type of thick-ish consistency,
the Mars Cheese Castle in Wisconsin.
I don't want it.
It's tangy and pretty tasty and falls into our current color scheme pretty well, but it's going to take more than this baseball sauce to make this sandwich a home run. Let's go ahead and get our sandwich closed up here.
It's too runny. Yeah. Ugh. Ooh.
Get our toothpicks in to hold it together. And let's go ahead and get it cut in half.
Oh my goodness.
And let's take a look at that cross section.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Well, I had a nice break of traveling and meeting some of y'all, but I am glad to be back making Roll for Sandwich once again. Let's see how the first sandwich of Season 6 tastes. Even with everything else going on, the sweetness of that Kringle definitely comes through. I've gotten tuna with sweet ingredients quite a few times, and this is probably the best it's been combined with a sweet ingredient. Chocolate, marshmallow fluff, those were both worse. The tanginess of the plum and the mustard sauce are doing a lot of heavy lifting, and the savoriness of the cheese and mayo help. I'm not getting a whole lot of fishiness, which is a plus. Though I can't exactly recommend this one, it's not the worst sandwich I've ever had. I think I'm going to go ahead and give this one a 4.2, and I'm going to call it Storm King's Blunder. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Catch me in Kalamazoo, Michigan this weekend
Shocked
for Grand
the
Rapids
pastry tuna sandwich didn't get a borderline 0.
Comic-Con, and I hope you have good afternoon, D&D, TikTok, and beyond, and welcome to Roll for Sandwich, the series where I let fate decide my lunch. Let's go. Today I'm going to be using these teal speckled dice that were given to me by a viewer at one of my recent live appearances. Thanks. Let's get things started with our roll for bread. 6 Sourdough. Always happy to roll sourdough bread, and I think I'll use our toast bread cantrip today. Make sure we have a solid base for our sandwich, and there we go. Next up, let's roll for our main. 4 leftovers.
Uh-oh.
And the leftovers I have for today are steamed pork dumplings, specifically my child's lunch that they didn't finish. I rewarmed up the dumplings, but not too much because I don't want to burn myself biting into the sandwich. Obviously, these microwave dumplings pale in comparison to the actual thing, but in a pinch, they're still pretty tasty. Next up, let's roll for our cheese. 3 cheese curds. During my recent visit to Wisconsin, I picked up some
Wait, those look gas.
fresh cheese curds. Structurally, these may be a little difficult to put on the sandwich, especially because the sandwich currently consists of 4 dumplings on a piece of
I would some of those
bread.
up.
So I'm going to cut them up a little smaller and kind of fit them in here however I can. There we go.
Okay, that's
Moving on to the roughage
okay.
roll.
I'm sort of here.
That's 5 lettuce and 7 dates. The lettuce I have today is romaine lettuce. It's not going to alter things a ton flavor-wise, but maybe it'll help structurally.
You know what a cheese
Last
curd
time
is?
that I got dates, I used 2
Cheese
whole
curds are
dates,
good.
and that was too many. This time I'm just going to use 1, and I'm going to essentially make it into a paste. We're going to spread that on our bread as best we can, and I think that this will be a more enjoyable end result. I think that that should work. Let's move on to the wild magic. Here we go. Let's see what we get. 14 St. Elmo seasoning. This is a pretty good steak type seasoning from St. Elmo's Steakhouse in Indianapolis. It's a good general blend of seasonings. Shouldn't add too much chaos. And last but not least is the D20 sauce roll. Here we go. 6 sour cherry spread. This is a jam made from sour cherries, often eaten as an accompaniment for cheese. It's nice and sour with some large chunks of cherry inside, and pairing it with the sweet dates, I think will balance it out. It's an interesting couple of rolls that ended up kind of balancing out, I think. I guess we'll find out. Let's get it closed up. Get our toothpicks in to hold it together, and let's get it cut in half.
That doesn't actually look too bad.
And let's take a look at that cross section. Looks all right.
The things I forgot about the pork buns.
One of my favorite things about this show is that the sandwich is always different.
Almost.
And today is no exception. Let's see how it tastes. This is like stupidly good. The pork dumplings are rich and salty, which is contrasted really great by the sour sauce and the sweet dates, which makes it just kind of a sweet and sour sauce.
C
the
in
cheese
all
curds
caps.
get the job done, but if I was making this on purpose, I probably would have picked a different cheese that could have been more evenly distributed. But honestly, this sandwich was very enjoyable. I think I'm going to go ahead and give this one a 9.5.
A 9 for that?
Dim Sum Paradise. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you again on Wednesday.
Dude, I thought that'd be like a 7.7 at max. That's crazy.